Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the LTA report. Um, Today's episode is going to be a good one. I have a feeling. As always, the LTA report is for the fans, by the fans, and yeah, let's just get right into the announcements, and then we, as usual, and then we can get into the topics. Uh, Usual announcements. Our Discord, it's going good. That's where we take most of the podcast questions. That's where we have like discussions, sometimes during the game, sometimes after. It's just like a cool space to hang out. So if you want to reach out to us, have any ideas, any comments, any feedback, the best place would be there. And then I will be at Dallas this weekend. So I will be there Saturday and Sunday. I'll be doing a bunch of fan content, like interviews, questions, all that, like cool little games. I'll have some stuff actually to give away as well. So if you see me, I don't have too many things to give away, so I don't know if you'll get it or not. But yeah, just come, say hi, take a picture. Should be cool. Hoping to have a little LTA report kind of crew show up. I know Carolyn said that she's going to be there. She's a longtime watcher as well. So if you're there, just come say hi. And then for Worlds, I know it's a little bit early, but Worlds coming up in a few weeks. We're going to be having a lot of content. We're probably going to be going live daily. Keep an eye out for mine or Marn's Twitter. The handles are in the so is the Discord. They're all in the description of this video. You can find it. We'll post like a graphic with like a little bit more detail, but we have a lot of content planned out. Worlds is kind of like when you go into full gear, and we're planning on going full gear. Shout out to Marn. He's done a lot to like up the level of this channel so that going into Worlds we can really pump out as much content that's like just fan content, because like the scene has definitely been developing a lot with more fan content, and like the more analysis content has kind of decreased, so we kind of have to make up for that. We'll definitely get into that later, but let's just get right into LTA news. 6-0, the North beat the South, and it wasn't even close. I have to apologize. This is a public apology. Papa Smithy, FlyQuest inspired, like Bippo, Geckos. I am absolutely, Maso and Busio too, and Quad. Can't forget you guys, coaching staff, everybody. I am absolutely sorry for doubting you guys. You guys showed what class is. You guys were a little shaky. You did not, like, it didn't matter. When push comes to shove, this is the best team in the West. I know Yamato did a whole video about G2 being better than them. This team is the best. They were playing with Geckos. They just like are so disciplined. They know they don't take bad fights. And that's something that we haven't seen from NA in a long time. They're so smart about the game. Their macro is really good. They just understand the game at an Asian level. Like this is, for all intents and purposes, like I could see this team being an LCK team. This team's just so good. I doubted them, and I'm just wrong. Like I just have to apologize. They completely dismounted VKS. Even Trimby on pros was like, we kind of got manhandled, and he used some rated R language, and like they laughed about it, and he was like, you just kept using it. And he was like, we kind of did. I was covering people's eyes. I was like, this is rated R. Maybe you shouldn't watch this. But yeah, I'm just very, very excited to see this team at Worlds. This team is legitimately good. Geckos showed up. He wasn't exactly against the toughest competition. Like I know he played against Castle and Fudge, two of like our best top laners. And Boao isn't exactly like, I know he's second team all pro, but he's no like FMB. I think FMB would have given him more trouble, to be honest. But yeah, it was a 3-0. Do you have any comments before we move to the next series? I think it was like relative. There's not too much to talk about.
It was a professional performance from FlyQuest, honestly. Like this reminded me of, do you remember when Licorice first came in and we were giving him every single like insane champion that you give it, like even if it didn't make sense, like when he was playing like Fiora, he's playing Vladimir.
Oh,
like,
2018, yeah.
Yeah. And like we're basically like holding his hand. That's basically what they were doing. Like the first couple of games, they were really like making sure he just got through this, like the games, got through the early and like nerves, and then like and he got through it absolutely fine. Like I still think it's perhaps too early to be thinking, like, is he guaranteed the starting spot for next year for like any of the top teams? I don't know. Like we don't know what FlyQuest's plan is. Like, and you have to remember he is 17. We need to. I'm definitely like tempering my expectations a little bit, just because yes, it is one best of 5 against. It is a high pressure. Like, don't get me wrong. Like because he's fighting for like to prove he's ready now. So it's not like a throwaway series as everyone may put it, but definitely it was like a very like promising start.
Yeah, I was very I was doubtful because what Bippo provides to the team is very different than what like Geckos was going to provide.
Yeah.
But it just like the rest of the team just, I mean, the team is just disciplined, right? Even if you switch out one player, the team doesn't collapse. The team doesn't like forget certain things. Like Whipple's job was done by the rest of the team. And that's really impressive to see that like they took a core of like Inspired, Jensen, and Whipple. Those were supposed to be the people that had all of the say and all of the power and all of the control of the team. And Maso and Busio were supposed to be these followers. They got rid of one of those leaders in Jensen. So basically, you had 2 leaders and 3 like followers, and then they were able to turn those 3 players into cerebral players who don't just like fight and use their hands all the time, but are actually good about playing the game, playing tempo, playing macro, knowing where to be, when to be, which fights to take. And that's like, it's not just about like the team playing well, it's about the players learning these things that they could potentially take to other teams. That's really like important, especially Busio. Like I know he's like one of the top 3 MVP candidates. Again, the way I look at MVP, you can't have Busio and Inspired as MVP candidates in my book. Like, but it is what it is. But yeah, like you said, it was professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Red 100 Thieves game. I mean,
after game 1, I was like, after game 1, I was like, alright, I'm going to bed. Like this is like I've already seen enough like from this series that 100 Thieves are gonna win it 3-0, and then like yeah, even if there like those iffy moments, there's never really any doubt.
I'm excited for 100 Thieves. Like, again, I do not like the circumstances of what happened. I do not like how they treated, like, how I felt the organization, the coaching staff was like treating the players, like just losing the faith in your drafter, like all that thing. I just didn't like necessarily. But whatever they're on, they should just keep doing it because Ayla's playing really well. He finished 3rd team All Pro. Like, at the beginning of the year, would you think Ayla would ever like? But you have Core JJ, you have Busio, and you have Vulcan. Like those should be the lock, and like Ayla made it in, and that should tell you something. Because last year everyone was like, "Get Ayla off!" Like Ayla's the worst support in the league, and like he kind of knew he was bad, right? This year, like he was like, people are still talking bad about me. He actually told me he's like, people are talking poorly about you. I was like, no, people are all giving you your flowers because you're playing better, and he knows it. So FBI is like on a tear. FBI is playing really well. I mean, this entire team, they're all just playing well. I think if they can like figure out, if they can just make a few less mistakes, which is hard because their whole style is like a little bit risky. I love the fact that they figured out their autocons. They don't care at all. They give up autocon every day of the week to take the fight afterwards. Like the way they play autocon is so unique in North America. I know there are some LPL teams, like I've watched some sequences in LPL where like that kind of plays happen, but it's really a treat to watch that they figured out a play and they do it consistently. And sometimes they actually steal the autocon and win the fight. And it's like, yeah, it's just so cool to see.
And I think like this has been the secret to successful Western teams in the past. And I do not get me wrong, not for a second saying 100 Thieves is going to make any damage at Worlds. I'm not saying that. But the one thing I will respect about them is they have a play style and then they lean on it. And that's how they play. And you know you're going to get that every single game now. They've locked it in. Like, Quid's looking back like one of the best players in the league again. It's a shame. It's such a shame that River is going next year because you would think, okay, these are the 2 pieces that someone can build. Like, oh, could you imagine if you had them both? Like, TL would snap them up in a heartbeat. Like,
I'm just saying, in the US, there's a new type of green card. It costs a couple million, but Team Liquid does have a lot of money. If you have $1 million, you could get him a green card. I'm just saying.
I mean, TL are late. They couldn't even put a booth together for like LTA finals. I don't think they're gonna like. And as much as I love, like, maybe to get Quid, you need to spend a couple million to get River, but that's never happening in a like it. River's good, but he's not like that insanely worth it, like from a financial standpoint. Like,
where's that Disney money, man? Dude, imagine this is your roster. Can you have that roster? Yes, you can. You have Castle on the top lane. You have River. He has a green card, so he's no longer an import. Then you have Quid. Then you have Yon, and you have Core or Ayla or like whoever you want, right? just like in support. Like imagine that roster. Doesn't that roster just like fight for top two? 100%. Like
I think that roster wins.
I think that roster. I don't know. FlyQuest is still like has their flowers, but yeah, that roster is like.
Yeah, but if you think about it, like you're taking like the good macro parts of Team Liquid and you're adding in better fighters than what 100 Thieves have now. Like you're replacing FBI with Yon. Like I'm sorry, I'm taking that any day of the week. Like, and Castle is more than just a system player. I genuinely think this guy's good, and I think he's just it's just a waiting game of like when he's gonna get on a top team.
He has such strong mental. Imagine being on Immortals, finishing last 2 times in a row, having your project completely scrapped and changed halfway through the season, then going on DSG and having to play with like 4 rookies, and literally your coach is a rookie as well, and like Huhi is the one that's like leading the team and coaching, and he can't even focus on Ozo play. Like you finished like last 2 splits in a row, and then finally you won 1 game in like 2 split. Yeah, like the mental to like consistently look like a top laner, like a really good top laner. That mental is just crazy, man. It's incredible to see. So yeah, I do think that roster could be incredible. But again, just to preview, do we think 100 Thieves is going to beat VKS? Here's the thing. I will say, when 100 Thieves played Red, 100 Thieves had better macro than Red, and I don't want to take anything away from 100 Thieves, but Red played bad macro. Like Red legitimately were doing nothing with their tempo. They were just giving everything to 100 Thieves. And even Dokla, or was it FBI on pros, was saying that. He was like, we're not great at macro, but like when we looked at the games and we were playing, we were like, man, we are out macroing these. Like they're just doing nothing. So I don't think VKS are going to let them do that. I think they're going to be challenged a little bit more. But 100 Thieves have a playstyle, like you said, where they fight. And I don't think VKS can match. I think VKS's strongest player is their mid laner. And I just think Quid gaps them. So.
Like the only thing that will be answered like pretty quickly in game 1 is, does Quid and River still have those stadium nerfs? Because this isn't you playing in front of a theater where it's just in front of you. You are now going to be encapsulated by an entire arena, and Quid hasn't experienced that yet. Like, he's not been in like an arena where like it's the entire full circle is around you.
Was the YouTube theater not? Oh yeah, you're right. It wasn't.
No, so it's just like a
It was a stage and then the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's your only question. Does Quid and River have the nerves? Like, and I know I watched David's video earlier, and it's a very good video. And the one thing I'll argue on Dokla is, yes, you won that one championship, but it was still, you have only you have that one sample size of where it clicked and everything's working. I think the NRG roster like really clicked, and like you did have a lot of confidence in that. You had Demonte, who was the Vibe King, who's able to keep him so calm, and you have to like, how will he perform in like where the expectations are, like, because it's very different now that the expectations are on 100 Thieves, because when the NRG played C9, the expectations were that they're gonna get 3-0'd. So, like, as much as, yes, he did perform in that first finals, this is now, you have to go put a statement against VKS, because everyone's expecting 100 Thieves to beat them after the way that FlyQuest dismantled them. And if we're thinking that 100 Thieves has a chance based on like how what they've shown this playoffs, you're gonna, like, the pressure's on you. Like, the pressure is 100 Thieves to win this series, because it will put like a little dampener on me going into Worlds if they go and get knocked out by VKS now. So yeah, because they need to get through this series, and if they can get through this series, then obviously, like, I think Quid will have like the nerves will, like, I hope they'll settle. Maybe they'll come back because it's a final and it's your chance to win a championship, but Quid's gonna have many opportunities too in his career. Let's be honest.
That's my hopes, actually, is that the fact that they're gonna play a little bit shaky in the 3rd place match, or in the lower bracket final. I'm sorry, and they'll get all of those nerves out, so that when they play FlyQuest, it's gonna be a banger game. Like, we're gonna see Quid and Quad just like duking it out. That's what I'm hoping for. Like, it might just actually be a buff specifically for Quid because of his nerves issue, And like I talked to River about this, and I told him like, hey, look, you made it to finals multiple times, and you made it on Golden Guardians. You've now made it like every what like it seems like the championship just keeps you get close, but it just keeps falling out of your hands. And then he mentioned how like he feels like he really choked those finals, and like if he had played better, he would have won. And he even said against the Team Liquid one, he was so cocky going in that like when they started losing, when they started throwing those fights, he just like completely mental boomed, and he was like, I will make sure I am not cocky the next time I make finals. And like he has a chance to make it again. Like this guy's crazy, man. Yeah, get him a visa, man. $1 million. Can we crowdfund it? Can Team Liquid like crowdfund it? Can we like?
Do you think? Okay, so are you predicting 100 Thieves to go through?
3-0.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3-1. I think VKS.
Why 3-1?
Because I think that game one's gonna be very, very rocky, like really, really rocky, and I think that's the only time that VKS will win a game. Like once 100 Thieves get all those out of the system, they'll smoke them.
I can see that. I just think that like even if 100 Thieves play poorly, they just have such good set plays. It's not underestimating VKS. I think VKS are like clearly the best South team. I just think 100 Thieves are a little like a level above. And sure, maybe they can like punch above their weight, and VKS can like really come and surprise. I just have that much faith in River and FBI. Like FBI is just playing too well. Like honestly, if FBI and Ayla weren't playing as well, and it was just like the Quid and River show, I'd be like, yeah, it could be close. Because like, what if they do crumble under the pressure? What? But like again, there's like 4 rookies or 3 rookies on what's it called? On VKS. I'm like, that's scary. They're away from their hometown, right? They're playing in like Texas, which again, there's going to be Brazilians. There's going to be fans, but again, you're like playing in the middle of nowhere for you guys, right? You're away. You're in the enemy team's home ground. Like, trust me, we are going to be cheering for 100 Thieves way louder than we're going to be cheering for VKS. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if there are boos. Like, you're going to Texas. You're a Brazilian team. You took one of our world spots. Now we didn't deserve it this year, but you still took it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of pressure on them as well. Like I wouldn't just, if we're putting the pressure factor on 100 Thieves, we should also put it on the VKS team.
100%. My next question.
And now for the finals.
Do you think that
we both have this?
So 100 Thieves, when they've gone to a stadium finals, they have not won a single game. Do you think this is the series that are going to finally break that duck?
Yes.
Well, I was going to say, like, well, this is the only series they can, to be fair, actually, thinking about it. Like, they're not going to get another chance after this, but I'm torn.
I'm going to predict FlyQuest after what I've seen. But I'm going to predict 3-2. Initially, I was going to say 3-0, initially I was going to say 3-0 for FlyQuest, and then the more I thought about it, the more credit I gave 100 Thieves, and like they could actually challenge FlyQuest. And then I'm like, wait a minute, what if it's just like FlyQuest lose? And then I'm like, no, after what I've seen this weekend, I cannot in good faith predict FlyQuest, even though I would rather 100 Thieves win. Like personally, I would be like 100 Thieves 3-2, but it's FlyQuest.
I'm very close to a 3-0, you know. And
a 3-0 for who?
Well, not for 100 Thieves, I can tell you that for free. FlyQuest.
Just making sure.
I think Bwipo is going to come in with a point to prove. And a Bwipo that's motivated, like look at him as a player. Like when he comes in with a point to prove and he's motivated, and he needs to show him, like he needs to prove to the audience why he's so good. He fucking smashes everyone. And I think that's when he plays the worst. Whenever he comes out and he thinks he has a point to prove, and he's like playing, he even said this in the interview. It wasn't with me, but he's like, when I just play my game, that's when I play my best. When I feel like people are pressuring me or I have to play my worst, I just like get in my own head. I actually very much disagree with that. I feel like he gets in his own head though. I feel like all the bad performances come after he has something that then, obviously, yes, we're talking about like similar situation where he said something and like it's had like a extremely negative response, obviously. But um, he like most of his problems, like I can think about the Thanatos one, like when he released his like top lane tier list before the C9 game, and then Thanatos picked his banned champions, like he's like worst picked champions, and then smashed him with it. Like all these problems normally come after he like is discrediting another top laner or discrediting a team. But I feel like this situation's slightly different in the sense like he's gonna try and shut out like the outside noise and focus on his like in some ways, yeah, like focus on his game. Like and make sure that the eyes aren't on him, even though like it's evidently going like to be like I'm curious how the in game like in the arena audience is gonna like react to his name.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you think there are gonna be more people in the audience cheering for Dokla or for Bwipo?
100% Dokla.
Do you think that matters? Do you think that do you think Dokla, with the help of the audience, with everything like the momentum, do you think he gets the better of Bwipo?
Uh, it's tough, man, because I like even if Bwipo loses the individual matchup, you still have four other incredibly talented players. That is it going to make too much a difference?
Oh, so here's my last question for you then. Do you think we see geckos?
No,
Not even if they're up 2-0.
definitely not if they're up to her because like all it takes is like I always think back to remember the C9 TSM one where Bergson went off on Akali.
Oh, the reverse sweep in 2019 spring? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was.
Do you remember when like
we were losing that game too.
We were in cruise control, and all it took was one moment, and then that series snowballed into a 3-2 loss. Why do you even give that opportunity to 100 Thieves to come back? Don't even give them a sniff. Like if you're going to like put them down, you put them down. Like you don't get cocky and put Gak like because it'd be a cocky move at that point. You don't need to. You don't bring Gatkos in even if you're down like 2-0. If down 0-2, sorry. Because like you wouldn't do that to a 17-year-old rookie to then like put the expectation on that he has to go save his team. The next time he will play is in I don't even know if he gets to play Worlds, honestly. Because it's so important to get the wins in the Swiss stage. I think we've seen the last of him this year, personally.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the finals. Especially because if you're on red side, if you're on red side,
you're going with this. Wouldn't it be such a right, we'll okay, let me paint this picture for you very quickly. They go down 0-1, and then it's like an ego thing where Bwipo like comes in to like save the day. Like you start with Geckos, they go down 0-1.
Oh, I don't think you start Geckos.
You don't think?
So here's the thing: you have side select, right? Because they're the first seed, so they have side select. So technically, they could go choose red side. But here's the really weird thing with FlyQuest, and I talked with Revan about this. But like FlyQuest is a very strange team wherein Bwipo has his own counters, top lane, right? That aren't necessarily counters, but he likes to play them, and he's successful with them. So you want him to be on red side. So he's like a better red side player. But then Geckos is someone who lacks experience, and he's very hand and mechanically, and he's going to win lane. He's going to play the Aurelia. He's going to play the Aatrox. So you want to give him counter pick. Yeah, so then, like, who do you? No, who do you give red side to? They tried against Shopify to give red side, but then we ended up picking red side because they don't know scouting. But it's just it's a very strange situation to be where Bwipo is the better red side player, but he's also the better blue side player. So then where do you fit in Geckos?
The only other thing is you have phenomenal talent across the board, and even if we're going like really hard on like the top lane matchup, like because another angle you can look at it is if Geckos doesn't suffer from nerves at all when he doesn't feel that pressure, start him. Like if you have a guy that has like 0 nerves, which you may not find out until you actually get on that stage. Like honestly, like if he's like any of the games he's come in, he's felt zero pressure. Cool. Like you maybe you give him a start because if they start Gakos and then they're winning with him, I think that series is a wrap.
He's playing the majority of the scrims. Like during the past 2 weeks, he played all the scrims. Now there are very few scrims to play between. First of all, you have to go to you have to do media, right? You have to fly out to Texas. You like basically in the next 5 or 6 days, they're only going to have like maybe 2 days of scrims. So even if Bwipo gets 2 days of scrims, he's probably going to split it with Gakos. Even if he gets the entire thing, in the past 2 weeks, he's gotten what two days of scrims, whereas Gakos has gotten all the other. So like, I could make the argument of like, hey, we've been practicing with this guy, we've been playing the specific style, let's stick to it, and then going to Worlds, we can figure it out. Obviously, we can always lean back on Bwipo, but this is what the most recent practice that we've been practicing. Like, I could see that argument of like, hey, if we're gonna start Gakos, it makes sense because we've been scrimming with him for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it matters either way. Like maybe, like in terms of like the amount of screen time that Bwipo's had, like these guys are like far more like comfortable. Like the only question you can have is how did the incident impact the team in terms of is there any internal issues with the team? Are they all still on the same page? How was practice post this incident? Like because did they decide that Bwipo is gonna get like 0 scrim time for like this a lot of time? But I still think that FlyQuest are gonna win. I'm just like leaning on like, are they gonna really like turn up that dial just a little bit more, and then because I don't think 100 Thieves has another gear to go. I think they're like in a phenomenal form, but I think maybe maybe I'm underselling how good FlyQuest are, especially like, on this big stage. I think
you are. FlyQuest are really good.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, and well, that's what I was saying. Like, I pretty much predicted them 3-0. It's because they've been on this stage as a team before. They've been international so many times now with this specific roster, and they haven't failed to impress. Only EWC,
yeah,
and
they played in Toronto. That's
even EWC, and it's like, well, who really cares? But
it's also not a very big stage. Like if you think about it, there's a lot of people coming to EWC, but there's so many games that like the league games aren't exactly the most viewed or like biggest games, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to sparse through the data because like they kind of mix everything. So like if you came in to watch like a Street Fighter game or a Rocket League game, they count you as a viewer, right, for the Esports World Cup. But that doesn't necessarily mean you watch League. So it's a little like tricky because they don't actually sparse the data. At least we don't have access to that. I'm sure they do. But from what I've seen, I couldn't find any data. But like I don't think like they played in, was it Paris? Was quarterfinals in Paris or was semifinals in Paris?
Quarterfinals was in Paris.
They played in Paris with like a raging crowd. They played in Vancouver, which like the crowd was incredible in Vancouver. I was very proud of them. I was a little bit worried. I would have preferred Toronto, but like that crowd was incredible. Just as a bystander watching and just like watching the games, it was really cool. Yeah. So I think they definitely have a lot more experience than 100 Thieves. Like 100 Thieves kind of choked at Worlds as well. So we'll see. I'm actually so excited. This is one thing I actually want to talk about. I feel like there's been a really bad job. Let me figure out how to say this. Riot Games has put a lot of the LTA desk, the analyst lounge, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call themselves these days. They have done a really good job at showing that 100 Thieves had their like heist. If you watch any of their segments, they have this entire board. Every time they play against a team, they have like this like a plan, like a blueprint, and like, oh, you have to bypass Blabber, and you have to go here, and you have to do that, and like they've had some fun segments regarding like 100 Thieves. I would have loved for them to like going into this weekend, going into finals, just do a montage of like 100 Thieves. Literally, they talked about it so much on broadcast. Just get an editor and put a video about 100 Thieves and this incredible run. And I understand maybe you don't want to do that because they're leaving. But like, come on, you have to. You have to hype us up. You have to hype us up for these finals. You have to like show like the history of 100 Thieves and like the players and how they choked and how this is their chance for revenge, how they were literally the worst team in the league. You've talked about this on broadcast so many times. Make a video out of it, make TikToks, post it, publish it, push it out to the people, because like most people don't watch the lounge. That's the reason they've been cutting down the resources, because people just don't watch it. They want to watch the games. The watch content in the midweek, like between games, people watch more content than like the analysts. Like really hype us up, because like I can find so many ways of being hyped for this FlyQuest roster for VKS, right? Again, like I am an honorary Brazilian. I watch CBLOL. I like it when Brazilian teams do well, as long as it's not against Shopify. So like I'm hyped for Trimby. His story is really cool. Like VKS was Coach Seal coming in last year, like kind of flopping. This year, like him being so public about it, and like I've been in on streams, he's criticized me publicly, and like I clap back, like just like I've had a lot of interactions with teams, and so I'm able to feel hype. But I just feel like we're lacking that hype looking at other people around the scene, and like what Riot has given us with such incredible storylines. This FlyQuest team has looked incredible. They took BLG to 5 games this year. They took Gen G to 5 last year. This 100 Thieves finished finals were the worst team. Have like they beat Shopify, they beat Team Liquid, they beat Cloud9, they beat Red, they beat Paint. Like they can't keep doing this, or can they? Give us stuff. We can't be pumping out more content about them than you guys. It's unacceptable. I don't know how you feel. Maybe you feel like it's been like sufficiently talked about because they talk about it on broadcast and during the games. But I feel like this deserve, like if this doesn't deserve its own video, its own like ad campaign, honestly, like what does?
We used to get like, if you recall, like Road to the Finals like videos, because like if you remember, they did this specifically for C9's run, like in 2018 when we were in 10th place and then we went to finals. They literally did a hype video about us coming from the depths of like our season's done to we're making worlds. We went from 10th to 2nd in the space of like 9 games, and then we made it all the way to the final. We beat TSM with like the Swole Bros and all of that. Like,
don't remind me, god damn it.
And yeah, like it's cool to talk about it on broadcast, but you need to be extending that to your social posts. Like every tweet should be like why these finals should care, because you made us not care about the apparent LTA North Championship that FlyQuest won. So you'd be thinking that all their marketing would be going into this, like, and maybe we are going to get like an epic trailer because they normally do like something pretty good. But, like,
they post it one day before the finals. No, that is unacceptable. You need something on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. You need this.
You need something.
It's your biggest event.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You need something that's popping up on your YouTube ads like a week ahead of, like a week out from finals. Like the second that these 3 teams are locked, this is when you go, okay, we're going to be publishing this on YouTube. Like these things should be ready. Like even if it's like the day after, because obviously, like you need time to edit it, post like the 100 Thieves series, but like it's been like a clear lack of marketing, and like that doesn't give me like faith for next year, because like you want these things to feel like popular, and like my hope is for next year, like if you do a rebranding, is that you want the LCS championship to feel special, because they are gonna get a trophy. Like if we keep like the same free split format and the domestic, you win the domestic split and then you're champions with that split, right? But you're playing it in the studio where there's no marketing for it. It didn't even feel like a final. The split 2 was the only time it actually felt like a little bit of a final. And like you want the domestic titles like the CBLOL Championship and the LCS Championship to mean something going into your LTA Championship. But the LTA Championship this year hasn't even been marketed in a way that it feels special. Like for me, I always feel a little bit deflated when my team gets knocked out. It feels like there's been absolutely nothing for... once the 100 Thieves FlyQuest series was over, it didn't feel like we have something to look forward to. It's like, we gotta go through this again. And like that's the biggest problem I've had with like the split freak, like doing a big massive playoffs instead of a split into straight into like this tournament split. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't always want to criticize what Riot Games is doing or what the LTA marketing is doing. I know there's budgets. I know they like it's difficult to balance a lot of this stuff, but it's your finals. Like if you're not putting the budget for finals, like where is it going? To the venue? Is it all for the venue? Like surely you run positive. Like you have big sponsors. Mastercard's going to be there. I'm pretty sure Red Bull. Yes, Red Bull's going to be there. Like surely you can at least break even. And with the I don't know. Either way, I don't
Before
want to like.
before going
Yeah, go
on to
ahead.
that, something we missed in the intro is that I will be live viewing the finals. Like I'll probably go live like 30 minutes before like the opening ceremony just to like interact with chat. Yeah, it should be fun. Like I've never done live view before, so I'm gonna be a complete noob. But I have like some cool graphics like cooked up for this one, so everyone should just tune into that if you're not attending in person.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. I should have written it down actually. I wrote everything else down and I was like, oh, I remember that one. I did not remember that one. um, but yeah. Also, speaking of trophies, World's Trophy. I'm so glad it's back. It
Finally,
looks
I've been
sick.
moaning about that for I felt like I
It's
was
been
the
like
only
4 years.
yeah. I never liked this trophy. I never like this
I was
it
okay with it.
no, but that I felt like this should have been your like MVP trophy. Like they like this like an MVP like you actually get like a cool little trophy that's like presented by Mercedes
That's a
Benz.
little too much for an MVP, honestly.
Yeah, but the
That
MVP
trophy was
MVP of
nice. I
World's
don't think it's
Finals,
bad.
that's like such a massive deal. Like
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
look and like anything to do with sponsors, like I don't care how silly it is, it like if some Mercedes Benz, so they should have been well like I'm
Yeah, this
so
this
glad.
World's Trophy, like, whew.
I'm not trying to be a downer. I really wish they just brought back the original, but I understand the original was so heavy, and Zeus was knocking his head over with this little one. So like I don't know, like teams wouldn't have been able. Like I love Carrier, but could you imagine him trying to lift the old Summoners Cup? Like he would
I mean, we'll see. We'll,
struggle.
we'll see
Well, no, but this one's
if he makes it to Worlds.
yeah, but this one's well they are they're qualified, aren't they?
They still have to play play-ins. If he makes it to
Ah,
Switch,
yeah,
sorry, I should have said
yeah,
if he makes it to Swiss.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, IG rookie versus Faker for the last world spot. Woo, that is gonna be that's a match I would not mind like live viewing. Honestly,
No, we can.
it'll
If
be
we,
like 3 a.m. though.
I know you probably have time constraints, but I'm down for that.
I'm
Not
down,
to,
I'm down too.
not to
Honestly,
put you. Okay, we'll see you there.
I think I'm down. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there'll be interviews beforehand or afterwards, but like, I think I'm down. That's
That's
dude, that's such an incredible game. Oh, okay,
yeah.
well, IG could still be third seed, right? It could be like Weibo. If it's Weibo, I don't know necessarily. I want to stay up and watch it,
No,
like
no, no. I
live
don't.
view it. I'm gonna watch
I
it
want to
anyways.
see. I
But
want
if
to
it's
live you
IG,
like a rookie faker one last time.
yeah, I know we've been starved. Anyway, sorry. This is the LTA report. It's not Worlds yet, so that's like starting next week. Impact did not retire. Impact left Team Liquid, but he did not retire, which is so strange to me because at the beginning of the year, I talked to Impact and he told me about his health condition, which looks like it's under control, right? He hasn't brought it up again. He also mentioned that like he's been thinking about retiring and he feels like if he doesn't do well this year, he's probably just going to retire. And he didn't do well this year and then he didn't retire. So like Impact, bro.
After Def
Like
saying
I understand you change your mind, but
after Def said this is the last dance, I didn't believe him. Like I don't believe anyone now when they say they're gonna retire.
I think if he didn't win Worlds, he would have retired. Actually,
Yeah, I think so
I think
too.
the fact that he won Worlds and he was like,
I can do it again.
I can do this. I can do this again.
Yeah, exactly.
Last Dance Part 2. Dude, the farewell ceremony for Deft like left me in tears. That was so good. And like the fact that we have nothing like that for NA is a little sad because our pros don't necessarily retire. They retire and then come like
I've always
yeah.
been vocal that you should do testimonial games. So like in
Yeah.
Premier League football, you once you reach 10 years of playing for a club, you will I think it's 10 years. It may have shortened now, but you would be guaranteed a testimonial game. So basically like a charity game against like another club's legends. just as like a way of like saying goodbye to like the fans. That's something they should do in like LTA really. Like if you play a certain amount of games or if you've been in the league for like a certain amount of time, that once you've retired, you've earned that like testimonial game. And like imagine you get to play with like you get to choose one of your old rosters that you get to play with. So like let's say Impact wanted to play with like 2019 TL.
Or 2022, e.g., Danny and Vulcan and JoJo, fly them
Maybe
in.
I'd love to see Danny like come back. But the only problem I think is I think all the talk will be around him like coming back as a professional instead of just like celebrating the
Not as a
moment.
professional. He's like it's a show match, right?
It is, but like I do feel like that's where the attention would like lie is people like just asking Danny, "Are you coming back?" instead of focusing on celebrating Impact's career. Because then you could face
I
against
don't know
like
about
another
that.
team. I think, and then you could face against another team of legend. Yeah, but like, look how many fanboys Danny had. Like he was like the guy in NA. Like he tweets every now and again. The second like people hear him playing a game, that's all it's gonna be. Like,
I still
but
think I kind of disagree with that. But anyways, that's besides the point. I agree that there should be some sort of celebration, not just like a video, but like an event. Because look, Bjergsen retires. You think you can't get like a venue of like 200 people to show up to Bjergsen retiring? Like forget 2,000, just 200 people and like have a cool farewell. My guess is it's not in the budget, but like, come on, man.
yeah, I agree.
Do it in the studio, whatever. Like sell tickets. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get back into that discussion. Impact is not retiring. What did you think about before I give my thoughts? But like, what did you think when you saw like he's saying he's going to take a couple weeks off or a couple months off, really revisit himself, see if he can find the motivation, and like try to come back?
I mean, I think every other organ is going. Oh, because if you can get a remotivated Impact, like you're absolutely cooking with a roster. Like it would make everyone like C9 Fly, that's Fly, sorry, Shopify.
C9.
It, I I'm not going to rule out anything like for anyone. Like if you can get a like an Impact that is in his best form, then he is such a solid piece for your team. Like you have the good and bad of him, and like each team that has had Impact has seen like the bad and the good. But the good is like you're performing internationally. Like you're he's elevating your team to like an international
Your
status.
MVP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. And he isn't. He doesn't take up an import slot, so you can then move. Like let's say hypothetically, like you had C9, right? You can then, if you want to import a jungler, like you very much can. Like as like let's just say like that's assuming that like Phantos wants to stay or if he wants to go. Like if he does want to go, I would not rule out C9 getting him personally. Like it is like it is such a jack move. Like he's either I can fix him or sure let's recycle another blower. Like
Overall, it's worked. I'd say like recycling players has not been the worst. He brought back Jensen. He won a championship with him. He brought back Sven and Vulcan. He didn't win with him. He didn't make worlds, but I thought the project made sense. He brought back Reaper. I think what Reaper did was relatively good. This year, last year, I didn't agree with what Reaper was doing, to be honest. But this year, at least, I can see it.
Reaper should go. Yeah, but that's for another time. Like I agree. Like in terms of recycling, they've recycled, whether intentional or not, at like good times. Like you said, brought back Jensen, brought back Sven, and it like instantly like at least improved fundamentally. Like I think the results unfortunately stayed the same. Um, in terms of not making worlds and stuff, but like I mean, yeah, like let's just say there is a position open in the top lane. I don't think any team is going to immediately like sniff at it or like snark it even.
Here's my bold prediction. You ready for it?
Okay.
Impact joins Team X. Team X is what I call like the new organization that's going to replace 100 Thieves. I think Impact is the new top laner of that team.
It depends on the roster, honestly. Like,
Look, you sign Impact, and you're like, we have a motivated impact, you can get a good jungler. You can get a good mid laner. You can get a rookie. You can have him be the stable, get one more like shot caller slash veteran, and then you can get two like super. First of all, he doesn't take an import slot, so you can have him and a veteran, and you can get two imports. Maybe you can get your your carries right in your mid laner and your ADC, and it can be like relatively.
Imagine, like, sorry to cut you off. Like, imagine you having like your starting core is Impact and Blabber.
I've seen them do stuff before. They didn't win a championship, but they made it to not semifinals, quarterfinals of Worlds. They almost made it to semis.
Impact weren't there. I'm not sorry. Blabber wasn't there. That was contracts with Blabber with an Impact.
Oh, you're right. That was contracts. Oh wait, they never played together. You're right.
No, it was contracts. Which,
yeah,
I mean, I've seen some silly Shopify fans calling for contracts head after how it ended. Like, you know,
I have a whole video coming up on Shopify on my channel, but I'm just waiting for Worlds for finals to end. You know who? What? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna say, you know who also is unavailable on the market?
Who?
Mr. Ray. You could have C9 Sword and Shield in the big 2026.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think our top lane pool is relatively.
It is so stacked. It is so stacked. And you're not even factoring in people like Suri and Sniper.
Yeah. And then Zamudo, if he's like actually as good as he's out to be. Dokla like has a resurgence. Yeah, top lane spots are hard
I actually
to
think
come by.
Dokla resurging has actually caused a lot of problems for some top players that may not get a spot now because, like,
Sniper, yeah.
Like, you think about it, like, I don't think that Phantos is leaving, by the way, just to make that clear. So, like, you have Phantos to C9, you have Fudge to Shopify, you have Bwipo and or Gatkos for FlyQuest. Do you think FlyQuest cuts ties with Bwipo after this season? Because his contract's up, I think.
Him and Inspired, yeah, their contracts are up. I don't know. I think that's the plan. Why else do you bring Geckos, right? It legitimately seems like Whipple wants to either A, retire or become a coach, or B, go to Europe. I don't think he goes to Europe. I think if either he spends one more year of like doing 6-man roster and then retires, or he goes into coaching or something. But
I think this
the thing is, I think
Whipple
is good enough to compete.
Yeah, so do I. Like if Bwipo was actually saying like I'm staying in the LCS, then you're looking at like that's another player getting like kicked out of the league because like Bwipo's going somewhere.
Yeah, top lane is a difficult.
But I don't feel like given Team Liquid's problems with players talking out and losing sponsors, I don't think signing Bwipo would probably be your best bet right now, personally.
Yeah, we also seen Whippo and Core DJ, and it just didn't work for whatever reason. I mean, Whippo has talked about why it hasn't worked for him, but yeah,
I can't see Whippo playing next year, if I'm being completely honest.
I wouldn't be surprised if Whippo played next year, and then going into the year after, he goes into coaching because World's going to be in NA, and you want the strongest possible roster now because I think Geckos like needs development. And I think just being under Bwipo for another year is really going to, because he's only been under him for a split, right? He only came in split 3, even though he was signed before that. So I think you give him another year.
You know what I would, I don't know how logical this is, but if I was FlyQuest, I would be loaning Gatkos out to like one of the NACL teams. But like as a shared sort of agreement, so that when like he's practicing with the NACL team, he's playing with them. But then if they want to play him in like an LTA game, he's able to just drop in for that individual.
I think NA Riot is a little more strict with loans than China. I will say that from what I remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be possible.
But either way, I think he probably needs a year in NACL, if I'm being completely honest. It's just like if there was an academy, it'd be perfect. Like
Yes, I think if he did what Quad did, where he like spent the split in academy while like practicing with like main team and getting to scrim and like talking to them. Like imagine Geckos is in academy, and at the same time he just has all access to Whipple and he's actually playing scrims because Geckos has been splitting scrims for a while now. He's splitting scrims and playing academy and getting all that experience and talking to Bwipo and getting like coaching from people like Nuktuk, from people like Mithy. Like yeah, that's just incredible. Like that's so much experience you're getting. You're just kind of like speed running LTA.
I think that would be like I don't think that'd be the ask one of these top teams that are coming into like for example, I think Sentinels were talking that they wanted to look at join NACL. Like,
NACL, yeah.
Like imagine just FlyQuest coming in saying like, yo, we want to loan you our top laner for the year. But obviously he's still part of our organization and he has all access to us. I think that'd be like a really good thing for him.
I would prefer he play as a sixth man on FlyQuest though, than go to NACL. If you had to pick one, I prefer he stays on FlyQuest.
I don't disagree. I just think it's so format dependent. Like the formats could be completely arse next year, and like where do you get that time? Like a split one,
even if he's just scrimming,
yeah.
Because like the amount of experience you're gonna get from playing with Inspired and having Whippo like give you like tips, you're not gonna get that in Academy. You're just not.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, this is a tough topic to bring up because I'm also NA media and
we're both. It's like it's people that we work with, like or have worked with for like many years.
Yeah, it's like first and foremost, I want to say that this is a little bit more complicated than people are giving out like credit for. When it comes to, so just to preface, this weekend, FlyQuest played against Vivo Kate Star, right? And at the end of the day, 2 North American media were present at the LA studio. And one of them, I don't know about me here, but one of them didn't get an interview. And he even said, like, I'll take anybody. Just please give me somebody. And he got nobody. He drove like an hour out and he's like not really making money yet. He doesn't have a sponsor. He's just doing it for the passion and because he wants to see the league succeed. And he didn't get an interview. And he was very frustrated at the fact that like you can go in person and not get an interview. And in normal, like, for example, I'll take the NBA. Even if you don't get like a one-on-one interview, there's still like a press conference every single game with multiple players. So you're always getting something to like pay the bills, right? Yeah. It's not like that with North America. There are weeks where I don't post anything. Maybe because I was busy and I couldn't do interviews. Maybe because I didn't get anything. It happens. But again, I'm online. So my cost is like my time. His cost is his time and the gas and the equipment and like travel. And it's a lot. It adds up. So I understand his frustrations for saying like, hey, why am I not getting an interview when I'm in person? I'm going to say Riot Games has 0% of the blame. I know people are like, it's still part of Riot. Like, look, Riot, if Riot is more strict with their interview policies, I think we just get crappier interviews.
Yes.
I think you give the teams a minimum, like minimum 3. That's 3 out of 5. If you add your coaches, whatever, 3 out of 6, 3 out of like that's like half of your roster. Now, granted, like the same player could do 3 interviews, whatever, but you're getting a decent amount of interviews that you're required. Like you have 5 players, and chances are you're getting 3 interviews every single week, or every single time they play. I think that's a pretty sufficient number. I think it's on the FlyQuest to decide who they say yes to. And maybe they're like, hey, all 5 of our players already have interviews in the past like month with Drew. We want to give it to a different media outlet. I understand that. But at the end of the day, it's like really complicated because it's like, okay, then like Riot does say that they give priority to in-person media over online. I have never once like complained about that because I completely agree. If you are taking the time to go and travel there, you definitely should have priority over online media who's sitting at home. It's also harder to do interviews in person, and I think they're in general they're better quality. I also don't know how do you solve this if you're like, okay, well, let's say Drew comes in every single week and every single week he requests FlyQuest and he's always like getting a FlyQuest interview. I feel like at some point FlyQuest might be like we want to spread it out to other media without like compromising our players and having to do like 10 interviews in a day. So it's like it's a little bit of a catch-22 where like how do you guarantee the people that are there an interview while also guaranteeing you're being fair and you're letting other media expose. Now, I know a lot of people came out and attacked FlyQuest. I kind of did, but I tried to be balanced where I said, look, last year, FlyQuest gave me an interview every single time I asked. It might not be the person I asked for, but they gave me an interview every single time, like for like 8 months of the year. This year, they have refused every single one of my interviews. I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm blacklisted. I don't know why, but like it seems like other people have had the same experience in the media scene with FlyQuest this year. Now, again, VKS didn't give Drew an interview, right? I don't know if there's a specific party to blame. I don't know if Riot is at fault. I don't think so. I don't know if FlyQuest is at fault. I don't know if VKS is at fault. I don't know how you solve this, but I completely agree with Drew that should not be a situation that he's in. And I think it stems from not just that, but the fact that like Riot Media, like NA Media, when it comes to like this time, includes Brazilian media. So I wouldn't be surprised if FlyQuest is like, yo, we take one NA and then like 4 Brazil because like we want to be more of an international brand. So like throughout the year we're doing NA. It's not like we're not doing NA, but at the same time, like, hey, we also have a very rare opportunity to have Bwipo give a Portuguese interview or interview in Portuguese, to have Quad do an interview with Mice Esports. Like they're a pretty big publication. They're bigger than Drew, Mihir, and myself combined, right? So I can see the argument from FlyQuest of like, we don't get international media very often. So why is it a problem? It's like such a complicated question. And I think every party has a part to say like, we did our part. And I'm going to let you go now, but I just wanted to like, as someone I know you stopped doing interviews, but like, I'm still doing the interviews and I don't get interviews. And it's very difficult for me to feel frustrated with a specific party besides FlyQuest because I straight up don't get them, especially in international, like, or domestic. It's difficult for me to feel frustrated with a specific outlet or like a team because I understand all these constraints.
I have always found it significantly harder for content creators to get premium interviews because although I disagree why like this would be like the preface, because these people are all like, they probably have bigger, like David has a bigger platform than some of these publications. Like for example, let's just say David, for example, because like he has like pretty significant following. Let's say he requested a player. His social presence, and he would be doing it on a live stream, so like, you're gonna get more fans watching. I've always felt like creators maybe get like the short end of the stick because they're not like, when I was working for Esports, I like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I got a significant amount of interviews because that name Esports does hold a lot of weight and a lot of respect in the community. The second that I was doing like, so you can request when you're working for a publication, but if you want to also do like your own personal content, you can request between, okay, this interview is for Esports and then this interview is for myself. There was a significant amount of difference between the amount that I would get for Esports versus myself, and like it's the same person, but obviously my personal brand has significant like less reach. So like I can understand why teams may not want to, or players may not want to do something they're maybe not familiar with. But Drew is really hardworking. Like I've been enjoying his interviews since he's been doing them, and like he's a guy that's genuinely caring about the space. So like I can understand like for me where I have no like really like big social presence, where like while it'd be a good conversation and like it's like a good interview to do because I do like put a lot of time into them when I did them. I can see why they wouldn't accept me, like, but versus when it'd be Esports, which is you're getting it on one of the premium publications. Like your voice is going to be heard, your story is going to be told because we'd put in an insane amount of effort to make sure that these stories were told in the best possible light. How you actually solve it? Like I have like no great suggestion other than like you have any attending media do like a mini press conference with one of the players. I think that'd be like your only, and I don't even think that's a great thing because from the sounds of it, barely no one shows up to the LTA studio. So, but I think that would be my only like legit solution is you'd have like a mini press conference. Let's just say 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, where whoever's in attendance, one player comes in, one player's chosen at random to do these press conference, and then like so, media are then guaranteed a player.
I'll tell you the problem with that.
Yeah.
People will not ask questions. This is a problem that happens a lot in press conferences, is that people do not, like, if I have an interview, like let's say, okay, FlyQuest just played VKS, I requested Inspired, I got Inspired, and Bippo has a press conference, right? He's the one that everyone's going to do. Chances are someone else has an interview with someone else. I'm not looking at that press conference. I'm so focused on my Inspired video.
Oh, I'm talking about specifically for in person, and not like this is like exclusive.
So like, let's say Drew does get an interview. Let's say there's only 2 people, right?
Yeah.
There's not going to be enough questions to go around, but like I think it should be in person for everybody. I think it should be for everybody to get even more questions in. But at the end of the day, we're going to be focused on our one-on-one interviews. So like I'm not going to go into the room and like try to like add more questions and then like hop back to preparing for my interview. It's just very difficult. It's a lot of workload, especially if I get like three players approved. All of a sudden, like I'm juggling questions. I'm watching the games. I'm looking at the drafts. I'm looking at the commentary. I'm going through their history to make sure like I have all my facts. Like I'm doing all this research that isn't seen. You're not going to get great questions in the press conference if it's just NA, because you don't have like, we have like what, 6 or 7 people that are doing interviews. Chances are half of us already got interviews. You have 3 people. Like for a press conference, I feel like 3 people, each one of them is going to ask one question and it's going to be done in 2 minutes. To your other point though, about .esports getting you interviews, I have had times where I did interviews with T1 players and I got tens of thousands of views. And another person, another publication, gets an interview with that same player at the same day and gets less than 10 views. And yet they consistently get interviews and I don't. When every single one of my T1 interviews does tens of thousands of views. It is not on Riot to judge based on your size, because that makes it so that makes it so the incumbents always get the interviews and the newcomers never get interviews. It is on the teams. The teams will see, esports. If I'm T1 and I see an interview and I see Cloud Shidaki or esports, MyC Sports, ESPN eSport. Like, am I going to go with this Cloud or am I going to go with esports? Am I going to go with MyC Sports? The answer is obvious. Now, at the end of the day, look, I've gotten an interview from 3 out of 5 of the T1 players. I've got an interview from Coma. Like, I am not pointing out T1, but I completely understand teams like T1, FlyQuest, like all these teams choosing to give the bigger publications, regardless of whether the bigger publication gets the views or not. It's not on them, to be honest, to decide I'm going to give it because they have more eyeballs. They give it because they have more prestige. That's completely understandable. That's how the world works.
Yeah.
I don't think it's on the teams or the players to say, David is bigger than Cloud, so I'm going to give it to Cloud. Oh, wait, Cloud is bigger on YouTube when it comes to interviews, so I'm going to give it to Cloud. Like, that shouldn't be on the teams. That shouldn't be on Riot. It's just the ecosystem we live in. We just don't have enough structure.
I do want to just point out very quickly, I'm not accusing Riot of giving esports like preferential treatment. I'm just talking about my own I'm like, because I'm talking about my personal experience that when I would request for like individual versus like when I was like, and it wasn't just esports, it was any publication I was working for. Like I was more likely to get them for a publication because and that's kind of expected when you're working in media, is that you're going to give the publications like teams are going to give the public. It's not Riot deciding these, by the way. Like for anyone
It's
like
always the
listening,
teams. It's
the
always the
teams
teams.
are the teams are deciding these interviews. So like if a team is seeing .esports or esports.net or when I was working for esports.gg, they're looking at these publications. They're saying, okay, this is a good opportunity to get our story out. This is good. They have good reach. Like some of them are up and coming. Dolly Sports is the biggest. Like we're gonna give like treatment versus this guy's a content creator with 200 subscribers on YouTube. Um, so like I just wanted to very point out that Riot was not the ones giving like preferential treatment to because they don't decide who gets you interviews. They will request every single player that you request for. They are like, excellent at that really, and like I've never faulted Riot for how they've handled my interview process. It's always been the teams decide how the teams decide who's interviewed basically.
I There's a reason we talk about this. I know you guys might not be interested about this, but at the end of the day, the reason you're interested in League of Legends, the reason you're interested in like certain players is because we get you these stories. And media is one of the biggest ways when of getting these stories to people, especially right after a game. It is like quintessential to competitive gaming, to any competition, to have the players talk to press. That is how you like multiply the reach. Like I cannot tell you how many interviews have hit hundreds of thousands of views, and I don't even have that many subscribers. The reason isn't because sometimes I barely even it's a press conference and I get one question in. It's not because of my one question. It's because you are interested in this team. You are interested in the stories. You are interested like when Faker won 2024 Worlds, I posted a press conference. A lot of people did. I was the only one that had translations, by the way. But anyways, that's something I was super proud of. I took like 6 hours translating, making sure all my translations were correct. But anyways, I titled it like Faker talks about that Silas play, and like everybody was interested. It had 100 views within like the first 10 seconds. Like I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I don't know how that's even possible. But my point is like this is something that you're interested in. You just might not necessarily know it, and so the topic might be boring. But the consequence of not having that, not having these stories, it's like there's a reason LoL esports is growing, and Riot treats media very well. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but those definitely go hand in hand. So it's a very important topic in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, obviously, I like it's my livelihood as well. Like I'm not full time, like, but I do put in full time like amount of work into this like interview and doing this. It's something I'm passionate about, and it's like I have a vested interest in it.
Yeah, like this podcast is practically became like our lives as well. Like we literally always interacting with our community. Like we've built, like, even though it's a small community and like small numbers at the moment, like it's ever growing. We started from 0 people in our Discord to we have 30 people. Like we have people consistently chatting, and that's something that I've always wanted to do is build a place for people to come chill and like it's not toxic. Like I know we cover a lot of negative areas of like LTA, but it's because they give us a lot of negative topics to talk about. Like if we like I wish that every single episode was like positive. And like we've had positive stuff in this like episode. Like our thumbnail was not toxic, our title was not in any way like clickbait. Um so yeah, like I'm proud of what we're growing. And
Yeah,
like
me too. I'm really proud of like what we've been doing, especially you. You put a lot of work. Like I'm gonna be honest, you put in like an insane amount of work that even I'm just like, dang, bro, like take a day off.
and like there's more to come. The grind doesn't stop. Like although like it's a long way out, by like Worlds next year, I want us to be doing like in person stuff because I want to be at Worlds next year. Like especially in NA, like I want to have like an LTA report crew like coming through like have a hangout somewhere, go out for a meal, like with like long-term viewers, and just generally like build like a family in some ways. That's what we want, like an LTA report family.
Yeah, and I will say also to the credit of this show, I don't know how many people would be comfortable with conflict. We are so often not on the same side of one topic.
Yeah.
And like it's difficult to find people that will be like, yo, I disagree with you. And then afterwards they're not like, yo, why are you like throwing me under the bus? It's like even today, you just mentioned how like you think Whippo is gonna come back with fire and he's gonna play well. I'm like, no, he's not. Like every time he has a vendetta, he comes back and he sucks. So I don't think that's a motivating factor. And like we talked about it. And like I think that's something that I really appreciate about you is that like if I push back against you or you push back against me, we don't take it personally. We don't fight over it. Like we're able to discuss things while having conflicts. And a lot of podcasts, unfortunately, are like, yes, and yes, and yes, and like, no, like, no, I disagree with you. Like, even if I'm wrong, like, yeah.
And like that's like a message, general message like we want to put out to anyone watching us, like whether you're like C9, FlyQuest, TL. None of this is like personal. We're not attacking you. We're not criticizing you as people. We're gonna be objective. Like about if your organization does something wrong, we're gonna criticize it. If you do something good, we're gonna praise you. Like we got FlyQuest on the thumbnail today. Last week we had you for the wrong reasons. So like we're not like and I appreciate like anyone like I saw like Papa Smithy saying like he enjoys our show and like that genuinely means a lot to us because like we know industry leaders are watching now. And Shocks follows us on TikTok. That meant like an insane amount because like Shocks is one of those like tier 1 industry people that you could practically never get like you could never talk to really because like they're so high up in like the ladder. But to see them follow our like I keep calling it about our little show, but one day this show's gonna be massive.
One day we're gonna have 100,000 subscribers and gonna be like our little show, and then everyone in the chat is gonna spam little question mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it happen. I know we went like a little bit on a tangent, but I think what we're building here is like we want NA to keep surviving, and we're putting in the legwork. So we want NA to thrive, and we'll try our best, and hopefully you guys like appreciate that and follow, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and just hang out too. Because again, this is made by fans for fans, so hopefully we understand you guys a little bit more. Neither one of us is like an analyst or like we're not being paid by like a team or anything.
But if any team wants to sponsor us, we will happily change these colors from blue to green very quickly if they want to sponsor the show.
Yeah, we're not necessarily looking for sponsors just yet, but we're always open to inquiries. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Shall we get into Q&A?
Yeah, we haven't got many this week, but let's talk about a couple of good topics.
What's up?
I said there's a couple of good. There isn't like many questions this week, but like we got a couple of good ones.
All right. So Griffin Station. Thank you guys by the way for like asking the questions in the podcast question. It just makes it easier for us to look at them and sometimes like even give us like really cool like discussions to talk about. So Griffin Station on the Discord says, with Impact leaving Team Liquid made official, what do you think Impact should and will do next? And any guesses to TL's new top laner? Actually, we kind of talked about that. I'll give quickly what I said about myself so that he can like watch this section. I think he's going to join the new team, Team X, whatever their actual name is. And then I think Castle is going to join Team Liquid. I think he's the best fit for that team. I know people are talking about Surdy, but for me, I just think Castle is a tier above Surdy right now.
And I think they're going to be able to do that because I think UG is going to be able to get redundancy. If not, like they'll probably get like obviously they'll have to get a domestic jungler, and there's going to be a couple of them on the market, I assume. So I think I agree with Castle probably going to Team Liquid because I do think Quid is also going to Team Liquid.
We'll see. I think there's going to be a bidding war for Quid, and I don't think Quid's first option is Team Liquid. I'll say that much. Just from like, we'll see what happens at Worlds, but I don't think his first like target would be Team Liquid. I think Team Liquid has lost a little bit of its um, reputation, or not its reputation, but its pull. Over the years, it's lost its pull for sure. And even though they won a split, they won 2 splits technically. I still don't think they have that pull that I think money would speak louder, and it doesn't look like Team Liquid are willing to spend, but we'll see.
I think that depends on the.
The next question.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
gonna say
ahead,
like
sorry.
very quickly, I think it depends on the new organization coming in because if they have like a lot of money, then maybe Quid goes there. But I I feel like a lot of times with these like players, even if it maybe makes sense to go to like the new organization because they have like a lot of money and stuff. Like TL is like a trusted project, even if they've lost a little bit of weight. So like with the Korean setup they've already got in place, and then if they get like a Korean top laner, and they already have Corja J there, who can help him like integrate into a championship winning team, because I do think if Quid's going to TL, that's the exception, the expectation. But to quickly answer Griffin, I think it's Castle going TL as the top laner.
All right, and like always, like there is a chance that APA stays. So like you could have Castle UG APA, Yon, and like someone else, like Corja J or whoever. So it could happen. Even with the whole if UG doesn't get a visa, so it's still a possibility.
Yeah.
Radley B asks, "Oh, I just saw him in chat. Shux is my favorite LSE caster. She's LSE talent. I don't know if she's a caster, but I know what you're trying to say." Radley B says, "There's been a lot of discussion by people like David about what this weekend will bring by way of announcement for the coming year. So I think there's been like a lot of talk of like, what is Riot needs to do something big at this finals, right? Like it's your first LTA. Like we're expecting some sort of announcement, right? So I think that's what he's talking about. While I feel like too much announcement hype would be disrespectful to the teams competing. We'll get back to that. What ideal changes would you like to see announced this weekend, if any, for the coming year, aside from LTA to LCS change? So we talked about a lot about how we really want LCS to come back and like we're really pushing for it. So besides that, what changes would you like to see this weekend for next year? I'll let you go first because I think you definitely have something on your mind. I can tell.
Well, formats are not going to be announced like this far out. Like as much as we'd like, I know for sure that Riot are not set in stone on any of their formats for any of their leagues next year. Maybe LCK, but then even then, I think they're going to change ever so slightly. I would like to see a outline of what they want to do in terms of bringing more fans in to the league by way of roadshows. Do they have plan? Like, I want to know. Do they have? Is it like?
It's mine. Crap.
Yeah. Like, are you going to be committing to more roadshows next year? Is like, you don't have to say like the finals location, but is split one going to be in a venue versus being in the studio? Is your summer split? Because like I'm saying, if let's just say we're assuming that they rebrand the leagues. Let's say we are rebrand the leagues. I do think that summer split then suddenly becomes like quite significant, and I do think that it deserves better than. I would just go to the YouTube sphere. Like I'm completely fine if your summer finals is in the YouTube sphere, because then you don't have to leave Los Angeles and then do another. Well, I'm thinking about it logistically in terms of if you let's say you have to travel to like a Texas, for example, or I geographically I'm not going to be like the most savvy for North America, but say you have to travel quite significantly for a finals, like you have to go to like a Chicago or somewhere like quite far. Like again, I am not savvy on North American geography, but if you have to travel quite far for your summer finals and then you have to go to you have to come back to LA doing like a couple of weeks of playoffs and then travel again for like the LTA championship final, that could be quite jarring. That's why I
see what
suggested.
you're
That's
saying.
why I suggested the fair to be
Yeah.
like just so you're keeping it within Los Angeles area.
No, it's because next year it's going to be in the South. Summer's going to be in the South.
Right. Ugh. I really hope
Yeah,
they.
that's why I was like, wait, Martin.
I really hope they just scrap that, but I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. Yeah, here are the two things that I was going to mention. Number one, I want to hear more games played. I want them to announce, not format, but going into next year, we've heard your feedback. There are going to be more games.
So like,
I want to hear more games.
Like on the screen, you just hear Moxie shouting more road shows, more games, more something else. So like, literally just that.
More teams. More teams, more games, more road shows. Oh my god, dude. If he does that, oh my god, dude. I don't think that's gonna happen. He said ideal changes, so that is ideal. But realistically speaking, we're gonna have more road shows and we're gonna have more games playing. If he just says those two things, even if it's not road shows, even if it's like official watch parties, more locations to watch the games, more games to watch. That like to me that's already, and then like obviously aside from LCS. So yeah, given those things, I would be happy.
I want them to do team bundles. I want them to do team bundles like they do in Valorant. Where
you can't announce that at LCS finals or LTA finals. You can't, because it's gonna, if they do it, every team has to do it. Every region has to do it, which means it has to be announced at Worlds. It can't be, or on Twitter. It just can't be. Yeah.
Maybe. That's what I really want for next year though, because like we saw the emails that just came out. Some of them hit, some of them didn't. I think I disagreed with most people with how C9 were marketing their one. I think it's actually very smart. Like a Teemo emote, like people don't realize how popular this champion is. Like it doesn't matter that C9 doesn't have their logo on it, because they have so many like ways of like representation already in the game. They have a catalog of
Did they not add their emote? Wasn't there like an updated version, or am I confusing?
For the most recent Teemo emote?
Yeah, I thought I saw a version with their logo on it. Maybe I'm tripping.
No, I don't think they have one. But like, if you think about
okay,
it,
maybe
how many icons do they have like in this game? Like, it's in the same amount because of the amount of international events they got. They're the only team in the current LTA that has an in-game skin, because they have like the C9 Kha'Zix World skin. Obviously, you can't get it anymore, but it's still like people who are a fan of them at the time can celebrate them in that way. Like they have multiple emotes. Like you have the Cloud9 one, which is that went out very, very well. Like if you're looking to make money, I think this is the way to go. You either have to do something insanely popular, like I think the Team Liquid one absolutely slapped. With the, is it blue? Like the what?
Yeah, I think it's blue. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have the blue emote. You either have to do something like insanely smart, like unfortunately the 100 Thieves one last year got cancelled, so we never got to see like the Akali one. But I thought that was an extremely smart emote that could have been added to the game. But yeah, I just want to see bundles, like to pointing back to the question, like have each team that you can rep in game, like the Clash banners, you can replace them with like banners of your team, like in game like stuff. So like you see like the Summoner's Rift like logo, like you can replace that with like your team's logo, like as you're walking down the lane. Like I think that'd be cool. Like just little things like that, I think would, because they're never gonna do skins. Let's be completely honest. Like my dream of having 5 skins that are just like incorporated into the game and that they're on like a temporary basis, so you have them for that season, and then once that season's over, they're vaulted. You can use them in like private games and stuff, and then like you have like your new ones that they're coming for the 2027, for example.
I have a problem with buying like something and then it being taken away from me. Like so I didn't buy anything. I bought like limited access. But that's just a general philosophy for me. Like I hate like Microsoft the way they do, like, oh, you have to subscribe, and then if you stop subscribing, all of a sudden you don't have a program anymore. Like I just fundamentally, if I buy something, I buy something. I hate the whole like subscription model. But anyways, that's a completely different topic. Radley does add about like what I talked about online games. He said, "Would you guys mind if more games were online?" We talked a lot about
We've
this.
gone
I will
so.
say, yeah, my TLDR is if we actually are getting more games, I'm okay with it online. My problem with online is I don't think we get more games. I think we just go online. That's my problem with online. A lot of people talked about more virtual games than in studio games. If we get studio games and online games, we just increase the amount of games we play. I would be down. If we decrease the amount of games we play or we stay the same and move online, I have a problem with that. Personally, that's like how I see
I
it.
So I wouldn't have a problem with it being permanently online outside of the finals if we were guaranteed that we're going to have a roadshow at the end of every single split. That would be like my exception for it, like being permanently online, because let's be honest, the LA crowd is completely dead. Like it's been like decent at times, but it's never going to recapture what like it was in my always one of my favorite ones was the TSM versus TL in the very first game of franchising in 2018. Um, we had these like two powerhouses. Like you had like the TL super team, you had the TSM roster with the best in the West, and Mike Young and Bjergsen and all those players. Like and that crowd was like electric.
Yeah, I think we're far ways away from that. I think we can get back to it. I just don't think we're on the right track. But Radley says, I think you'd be okay for letting go one studio day per week if we got 3 online days in return. That's a trade I'm willing. That's like take my money. Yeah. So we got 4 games, like maybe like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday games in return for one of the days not being in studio. I'm down.
I just worry that like you said, like we'd go online and it wouldn't be an addition, it would be a substitution. That would be
That is my worry. Yeah.
because like I'm living a pipe dream thinking that we're going to be doing domestic finals out anywhere outside of the studio. Like I'm living a dream for that basically.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what Raya is thinking about. I'm sure they're looking into road shows. It's very successful in Korea. It's always been successful in China. It's been successful in Europe. I think they're looking at ways to make it happen. I think Riot have really good people that are working on the format.
You
Again,
see,
they've done a lot of bad decisions, but I do think they consider things. I just hope they consider it correctly.
I always see like when the cool stuff happens, North America is not at the forefront of this. So like we've had cool little things like streaming scrims where that should have been our thing. Like that separates us from Europe, and then they can be looking at it and like, man, this may be a cool idea for like content idea. If we did it once, it actually never happened again.
I'm very disappointed in that. Yeah, I'm not happy.
Yep, like there is little things, and like maybe that's why Riot isn't looking at NA like particularly because like we've had opportunities like we screamed and cried for Champions League for so long, and that died within 5 minutes. Like the stream transfer, like I already talked about. There's other little things like that have been introduced. Do you remember when Live Patch was just like the thing? Like, I really enjoyed Live Patch that sadly went away.
I still enjoy Live Patch. I think it's a really good change.
Yeah. And like like the timer in between, like remember like it'd be like 5 minutes between when the Nexus ends and when the next game starts. They kind of went away from that. But it's just like little things that could have been good for North America that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I think the more we talk about it, the more like the fact that there are people in the industry that are listening to us, like obviously they might be like, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about. We have a budget to work with. We have these restraints. Like maybe like the teams didn't want to do it. Maybe Riot doesn't. Like there's always these constraints. But the fact that we can get this discussion going is something that
Yeah.
we're trying to do our part in
At the end of
making
the day, we're
NA
just
great again.
fans. At the end of the day, we're just fans. Like people shouldn't be coming to us for like high analytical content. That's not who we are. Like we tried to do our best. Don't get me wrong. Like we're not just gonna completely like just shout shit. Really, like to put it nicely. But we're all for like we just like talking and anything like that's on our minds that we really want to talk about. Like we will. There's not really any topic that we would like shy away from.
Yeah, I mean, I think every time something shows up, we talk about it. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, and we're okay disagreeing as well. So it's I think it's a pretty chill show.
Yeah.
Chill show. But I think that's it for the questions. You got any shout outs? Because I have a few.
Uh, Tune in immediately after my live view. We'll probably within like the immediate like hour or 2 hours after, we're gonna be doing like a live version of LTA report, like going over the finals. So
Crap, that was one of my shout outs.
I keep stealing your thunder. I'm sorry, man. You can talk more about
No,
it if
it's
you want.
all good. Yeah, so Marna is going to go live 30 minutes before the beginning of the finals on Sunday. He's going to live view the entire thing. Come hang out. We'll have like a maybe even like a Discord channel where everybody can kind of just join. We can all like talk about the game and whatnot. Still to be determined, but we will definitely have that live view. And then afterwards, I will try my best to like do my interviews and then get back to the hotel as fast as I can so that I can do the podcast. That's happening. I will be in Dallas. Like I said, I will be in Dallas. So if you see me there, or even if you don't see me there, I'm giving like temporary permission to at me in the Discord and say, "Hey, where are you? I want to meet up with you." I will tell you where my location is, and you can come. We can take pictures. We can post it. Oh, we're gonna post it like on the YouTube community page. If you're okay with that, if you don't, like just tell us. All good. So there's that as well. Shout out to Martin again for all of like the graphics, the channel, the uploads. He does a lot of work for this channel. The behind the scenes work is a lot. We're always like discussing and chatting and like figuring out different ways of bringing content. Our world's content is going to be awesome. We have a lot planned, and so stay tuned for that on our Twitters. If you don't follow either one of us on Twitter, you should probably follow Marn. If you only want to follow one, you should probably follow Marn. There's that, and then as always, join the Discord. The Discord is where a lot of cool things happen. It's where we're planning on making a lot of cool things happen. So join the Discord, and yeah, let's have a great LTA finals.
Yeah, peace.
All right, peace.